With the 16 days of activism coming up very soon, I see it fit to share my story here on the stage with you on the red dot. So I'm going to touch a little bit on, I'm going to dive into something that is so dear to myself. Actually, it's not very dear, but something that I think most of us know somebody that have gone through it, or some of us have gone through it ourselves. So when I was much younger, and I want to take you a little bit back before I get you into the story so we can understand. We're going to put the dots together. So when I was younger, I was really the life of a party. At a very young age, I was fortunate enough to be put on television. It happened. It happened by chance, you know. I was once emceeing an event. I think I just finished high school, and one of our gospel artists was having a CD launch here in Swakop. And I was walking with a friend of mine, and he's like, "No, I'm looking for somebody to MC my event today. Do you know of an MC?" My friend spoke me up. You know, if she was gonna say this girl is Beyonce, she was gonna say that. And I landed that event, my very first event. The other events I've done as beauty pageants or something at school. At that specific event, I was emceeing. A man of God came to me. His name is Ben Vili Lukoki. He was a producer at TBN just outside Swakop at Nodidas. And he came to me and he said, "Helena, when you were speaking, when you were emceeing today, there was something about you. I don't know, there's a light, there's something, there's just something about you. I don't know what it is." And I've been in Swakop for a while now, for almost a week. I was looking for a TV presenter. I couldn't find somebody. But when I saw you speak, I was just like, I found my person. Without auditioning or anything, I found my person. And that brings me to each and every one of us sitting here today. You have a light. You have that light that glows within you. When you walk into a room, when you speak to people, when you have a conversation, or when you just take a seat at a table, you have that light. And one thing that we go through is sometimes that light is snatched away from you. It's not even stolen, because you know when a thief, when they steal, they make plans, you know, like planner, we are going to do this. It's snatched away from you. Fast forward, obviously, I started my working career. I was the girl, you know, I was the girl. I was on radio, I was on television, and I was doing the most, you know. I was that girl that would be profiled in the newspapers. And when I walk, I have my head up high, and I'm like, you don't know who you're talking to. One day, I woke up in a hospital bed with bruises on my body, on everything that you can think about in a hospital, not knowing how I actually got there, but I know there was something that happened the night before. I got the shock of my life because when I opened my eyes, there were people around me and they were crying and everybody was hysterical. The surprise that I opened my eyes. When I opened my eyes, I said, "Lord, what is happening? Lord, is this the plan that you have for me? Is this the journey that you have for me? Is this where my life must end?" You know, when you wake up in hospital, I don't know how many of us have been in situations almost like an ICU. When you wake up, you don't know, is this my last breath? Am I gonna, or is this it? And I woke up in hospital with almost have lost my life to a hand, to not really a hand, but due to a loved one, somebody that I loved dearly, somebody that I trusted with my whole life, a relationship that I was in for 3 to 4 years, a very loving relationship, a relationship when we step out in public and we hold hands, people are like, "Yo, Beyonce and Jay-Z, there you go." That was the relationship, and this is the person that almost ended my life. As I lied in hospital, I remember very well. And before that, this is after several episodes happened before. This is before, there were conversations. This is after my family sat me down and my family said, "Listen, you need to get out of this situation." I remember a friend of mine once told me that, "Listen, if you don't get out of this situation, my dear, you and I's friendship is ending here. Because if I continue being your friend, it means I'm going to bury you. And that I don't want to do." And I was most the girl. You know, most the love stories. I was the girl and I defended this person. And that very day when I woke up, I remember this phone call every day of my life. I remember it so vividly. And I could hear my father's voice shatter on the other side. And he said, my house name is Kandesh. He said, Kandesh, Toningishike. Translating, Kandesh, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? Why is this the memory you want us to have of you? I want to give you a glimpse of a woman in an abused relationship. We don't stay in these relationships because we want to stay. So many times somebody tells you, Etsiano, can you not just leave? You know, why are you in it? Almost as if, you know, when you buy a top at the shop, can you not just return it? Sometimes you stay in this relationship because you've met the good in this person. You fell in love with someone. This is somebody who bought you flowers. This is somebody who surprised you on your birthday. This is somebody who randomly just showed up. This is somebody that you've seen the good in. And the reason why women stay in these relationships is because we have hope. When you go to sleep at night, you are not, and I say this every time because I speak on so many platforms, and every time people ask, why do you stay? Why do you stay? We don't stay because we want to stay. Nobody stays in that situation saying, yeah, nee, this is my plan. No. You're staying because you are hopeful. You are hopeful that tomorrow this person, because you've seen the good, and because you've seen the good, you believe you are going to see the good. Now, what I want to talk today, what I want to say today, my talk is take yourself back. If you know somebody who's in this situation, if you are in this situation, it's not a very good position to be in. But I want to tell you that it's not your fault. Firstly, it's not your fault. I woke up from that hospital bed with a conversation that till today have never left my heart from my father. And I said, I'm going to take myself back. And I said, Father, I'm going to show you that this is not the memory that I want you to have of your daughter. I want us to take a moment of silence because not many women have taken themselves back. Not many women have walked out of these situations. And in most cases, we are around this woman. And what we do sometimes, we just push and we push and we push. And when you push this person, you're just pushing them back to this person. You're pushing them back to this person that have robbed them and that have snatched something so dearly from them. And that is their confidence. That is their self-worth. That is their power. If you know somebody today that is going through gender-based violence, if you know somebody today that is being abused, statistics show that almost 30% of marriages in Namibia, this is a statistic that was done by GIZ, suffer at the hand of gender-based violence. We also in this room, we know women that we have lost. We know one, we know two. I'm praying that we don't know more than that have lost their lives at the hands of their loved one. We even decorated, we found a very nice word, we call it passion killing. I don't see why. What's the passion in that? We call it passion killing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a boy child advocate, and when the ladies earlier, when we were talking about the gender issue, my blood was boiling. I wanted to fight, because I fight for anything that has to do with a boy child. But sometimes you gotta take yourself back. And you need to know that it's not your fault. You are worthy. You are enough. And you must not allow this person to create an identity for yourself. Because what happens in most cases when you go through this, the biggest thing that comes with that is shame. What happened to me is I got out of that hospital bed and I told myself, I'm going to take myself back. I remember I was on radio and I went to work, I think 2-3 weeks later when I recovered. And when I was on air, somebody called to bring up the situation on air. And I decided to handle it. I was crying. My tears were, I was running, but I'm on radio and you can't see me. And I handled and we spoke about it, and I think I put 5 songs. And I went to cry my eyes out. I came back on radio and I spoke about it. But after that day when I went out, I said, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to go out in public. I'm not going to see people. I'm not going to put myself at a center of attention because people are going to attack me. But the one thing that I knew I did is I forgave that person. I forgave that person. I said, you know what? I love you. Even though what you've done to me, I love you. Because I've loved you then and I still love you. But we have to go our separate ways. Not because of anything else, but because this is not working. But what I didn't do when I had that conversation and when I said we need to go our separate ways, I didn't forgive myself. So I walked around with shame. I walked around with this cloud behind me that almost put me deep into a hole. I want you to let go of the shame. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm sorry. It's not your fault. You didn't deserve that. You didn't go through that because there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with the way you talk. There's nothing wrong with the way you reacted to that situation. When you snap your finger, whatever it is that you say, there's nothing wrong with you. And the one thing that I want you to do is get out of that situation. Statistics have shown where it ends up. Get out of that situation when you can. And most importantly, take yourself back. Take yourself back. And the minute you take yourself back, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself, love yourself. You are going to be that, you are going to find that light that glows within. When you walk into a room, you're going to demand attention. When you walk into a room, you're not going to second guess or second question yourself. You're not going to think, am I worthy because somebody snatched it away from you? If you know someone that is going through this, I want to tell you today that they're not there because they want to be there. They're not there because of they want to be in that situation. They are there because they believe that one day the situation will change. Advise them to take themselves back. There are so many call centers that you can call, Regain Trust. We have Be Free centers. We have so many that you can call and make sure that you do get help. Ladies and gentlemen, my big idea for today is you are worthy. You are worthy. You are amazing. And the one thing that I want to tell you is if there's anything at all that you are going through, that you are suffering from, that you are not sure when it comes to who you are within, take yourself back and please go out there and create the magic and be the person that you were made to be. Thank you.